Well, that just about does it for this Miami season. They fall to the Houston Texans 12-20 in what was just an absolute terrible, terrible showing. This was such a winnable game. The defense showed up. The defense was making plays. The issue is the offense. The turnovers. You can't turn the ball over 4 times and expect to win. That was the main issue. The fumble early on in the second quarter that led to the first touchdown of the game, that was disastrous. Then the interception right before the half that was returned for a field goal eventually. 10 points off turnovers. All Miami needed to do was play a completely clean game and not turn the ball over, and they would have won. But instead, it was just disaster. The offense didn't look good once this entire game. Even on their touchdown drive, it was a mess. The offensive line. This is going to be going back to the offseason. This past offseason, every fan, every media member knew that the issue with this team was going to be the offensive line. The offensive line. But what did Chris Greer say about it? He said that we're more worried about it than he is. Well, we're at a point in the season where you need the offensive line to show up the most, and they completely don't. Liam Eichenberg better not get extended this offseason. He better be let to walk, because he has not been playing well since arriving in Miami. And for some reason, he continues to start at right guard. I do not get it. Austin Jackson, for as good as he is, he just can't stay healthy. He has missed the past few weeks, and then Kendall Lamb was inactive today. Teron Armstead, I don't know what the future looks like for him, but there's this offensive line. The offensive line and the philosophy surrounding the offensive line needs a complete and utter overhaul and rework. We cannot be a successful team with an offensive line strategy that Miami currently has, that is a primary agile offensive line that gets masked due to the quick release. It's not going to work. We need to get physical on the offensive line, and that was shown today. We also need to get healthy as well, but that's a different thing. The safety room. I don't know what Jordan Poyer was doing on his touchdown he gave up, but whatever it was, it could not slide. He's only on one. This is probably gonna be his only season in Miami. But it's the fact that we have Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland. We were expecting something good out of that duo, and we got nothing. I do not expect Javon Holland to be back in Miami under a long-term deal if he is back at all. He's just not playing well. He has not proven anything that would warrant a long-term, high-money deal that he probably wants. I do not expect him back. This team, McDaniel has his moments. But there's just also, like, when we don't have a ground game going, the failure to even attempt exotic stuff in the ground game is insane. Like, okay, the traditional ground game is not working. You can't run the ball up the middle that well. You can't really go outside, even though you didn't really try it in this one. Then do some kind of fancy shit. You do fancy shit all over the place in the passing game, but for some reason he refuses to get creative in the run game, which I don't understand, because he got his prominence and got his fame as a run game coordinator in San Francisco. He comes to Miami and he just completely forgets the ground game exists. It feels it's not doing anything. It is non-existent, and because of it, we're unable to get the passing game going how we wanted. We can't go the ball. You can't throw the ball downfield, and you can't get these RPOs to work when the ground game isn't working to build off of the play action and with just the RPO with the play action. You need the ground game to work, but it's not going to, because the offensive line is not physical enough to get it to work. The offensive line is not good enough to get it to work, and the play calling for the run game is not creative enough for it to get it to work. We're seeing all these other Shanahan-style teams, the Packers, the 49ers, the Rams. They're finding creative ways to get the ground game working. For some reason, McDaniel is just not using his creativity in the ground game, and it has cost this team heavy. And I do not get it. And on top of it, Tua did not have a great game. And I know people are going to put the blame on Tua because he threw 3 interceptions. But a team is not a good team and can't find success when you need your quarterback to play an absolutely perfect game. Tua did not play a perfect game. Two of his first two interceptions were terrible. Like, no idea what he's looking at type of interceptions. The second one was also just a terrible play call, but that's besides the point. You still need to throw that ball better. But unless Tua has a perfect game, Miami cannot win, it seems. And even when he has perfect games, Miami has lost this season. So this is, again, if as much people can say this is on Tua, and yes, he did play bad, and yes, you can put the blame on him. I won't fault you for doing so. For me, this is more so on McDaniel and the offensive scheme as a whole, and the offensive philosophy as a whole. Which you can still keep McDaniel as the offensive mind that he is, and as the pseudo head coach as he is, you still can't keep McDaniel, but you're gonna have to force him to adjust his philosophy by bringing in a new GM. So Greer needs to go. His complete negligence in the offensive line is terrible. Danny Grossman needs to go because the special teams constantly makes mistakes week in and week out that somehow loses team games, but they also make great plays like the Malik Washington return, so I don't know what Danny Grossman's doing over there. But the key thing is you need to adapt his philosophy. And you need to force McDaniel to, or he needs to get out. He's not going to be gone after the season. We need to force McDaniel to change his philosophy this offseason with the help of a different GM or ownership pressure, and then see how it works next season. Because this season was a complete disaster, complete throwaway. Cannot be having it again. But that's enough for this. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a like. You know the whole drill. See you all next time. I'll have a more proper, thought out off-season video at some point once the Super Bowl ends and all that. Thank you all for tuning in. See you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.